All right, guys, we made it to the last week of training for OSG. We have 3 training sessions left, and they'll probably be pretty short, especially these first 2. So I'm probably going to consolidate this week of training into one video because there's really only like 1 or 2 things that I've got today and tomorrow. And then my last day will be a little bit more involved. But like I was saying, I think in the last video, we've kind of stripped down a lot of the accessory work, a lot of the fluff stuff, and really just kind of hammered in on the events themselves. Last week was kind of my peak week. That was where most of my heavier stuff was. And then this week we're starting to taper. So we're tapering on weight, tapering on volume. The training sessions are pretty short. And at this point, we're really just working on making weight. I'm at the very end of my weight cut. Feeling pretty tired and shitty. Calories are way down. Carbs are way down. If not non-existent on some days. So thankfully, training isn't too high volume because we don't really have much written today, but I think it's still going to be kind of a bitch to get through with how I'm feeling right now. Log today and a little bit of conditioning at the end. Tomorrow, it looks like we've got yolk, sandbag throws, and some grip work. And then my last day of training will probably have to be Thursday. Normally it would be Friday, but just with traveling this weekend, we might have to condense a little bit. But the last day of training will be log again, some sandbag throws, some medley practice, and then my last heavy-ish stone day. So that day will probably be pretty tough and pretty long. But these first 2 days this week, I don't think will take me more than an hour. So I will probably just put this all into one video because today really all we've got is log. We have 6 doubles. It's written at 175, but I have to go back and look. I think last week it was written at 170, and I did 175 because of what we had done the previous week. So I might bump that up to 180. And depending on how my lungs are feeling and how my energy feels once we get to working weight, I might try to EMOM those just to get some extra like endurance work in. But 6 doubles on log. A couple accessories like some rear delt raises, face pulls, and push downs that I probably won't film. I've just got a couple sets of each of those just for like some blood flow, nothing crazy. And then conditioning at the end. So that'll probably be the hardest part. Some bike sprints are going to be a pain to get through today because I'm very tired and hungry. But all in all, probably shouldn't take more than an hour. So I've already warmed up a little bit. I'm kind of trying to replicate what my warm-up might look like at the contest. So not using a whole lot of like machines and stuff, just trying to do some like band warm-up and some stretches. And then we'll go right into log. So I will see you guys back once we get up to the working weight on our 6x2. All right, so that was first working set at 180. I'm kind of back and forth about whether or not I should EMOM them. The weight actually feels pretty good. It doesn't feel heavy, but I'm just feeling really fatigued, a little bit lightheaded and dizzy. So like after I cleaned it, the weight felt good, but my balance is kind of all over the place. I'm trying to decide if being tired makes it more important to push myself on the conditioning aspect and EMOM them, or if that means I shouldn't. And I think I'm not going to, because how I'm feeling right now is not an accurate representation of how I'm going to feel on comp day. And I think getting good, valuable, clean reps is more important than pushing the conditioning, knowing that how I feel right now is not really a reflection of my conditioning, and it's more about the fact that I just haven't really eaten today. So I'm going to try to keep the rest time short-ish, but not going to worry about doing like a strict EMOM, and just kind of try to clean them up and find my balance point a little bit more, I think is what I'm going to end up doing today. So that was the first set. I'll probably see you back for one of the middle ones and then the last one. All right, this is set 4 out of 6. They are getting a little bit better. The hardest part right now still is just kind of like my vision going wonky in the rack position, making it hard to balance. But they have improved since that first set, and the weight's moving pretty well. So I'm happy about that and optimistic that once I'm fueled again, these will feel pretty good, because even right now, it's not the weight that's feeling like an issue. It's just kind of the positions in general. So pretty happy with that. I've got 3 more sets here. Last set, best set. 2 down calls again. Spin move. Okay. All right, so that's a wrap on log for the day. There's not a whole lot left, like I said. It's some like blood flow work, some rear delt flies, face pulls, tricep push downs, just to get some blood flowing and some movement. Some bike sprints at the end that I'm expecting to be pretty shitty. I think 5 rounds of 15 calories on the assault bike. So that'll be rough, and I'm not going to film any of that because it's not super exciting to watch. But we'll be back tomorrow. Yolk and sandbags, I think is what I said, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'll see you back when we get to that stuff. All right, so we're on to day 2 of this week. I did just do some sandbag throws outside to warm up. It's super dark outside, so I didn't film that because we wouldn't have seen anything anyways. But we did a couple comp runs there, just because that's not super fatiguing, and I'm using that as a warm-up on a lot of my days just for some extra practice. But we are starting again with Zercher squats, just as a warm-up exercise. So the RPE is quite a bit lighter than it was last block when we were doing them as a main movement and pushing the weight. Again, just like last week, if you watched that video, I'm choosing to do them all the way from the floor just for a little bit more like full body, full range of motion warm-up. But the RPE is even less, so we're going to go lighter than we did last week. We have some speed runs on yoke. I think it's just at 400 pounds for a couple speed runs, and that's about it for today. So it'll be another really short one. I'll show you guys one set of the Zerchers here, and then I'll film my yoke runs, and that'll be about it, because the only other thing that I normally would have on this day is grip work. But since we're only a week and a half out, I'm not going to be doing that. I've found historically that my grip always performs best when I give myself at least a good 2 weeks off of grip-specific exercises, so we won't be doing that today. It'll be another really short one. I've got 3 sets here, 2 or 3 runs on yoke, I believe, and then that'll be a wrap. All right, so I'm not going to count that as like a working set. That was with the axle, I guess that's 115, so I'll put 25s on to bring it up to 165, which will be an appropriate RPE for the working sets for the day, even though the working sets aren't meant to be heavy, and I'll probably do my 3 sets there. All right, I'm going to call that working weight for here today, since we're just at an RPE 5. Do 2 more sets there and then move on to some yoke. All right, so we've done a few warm-up sets here. We're up to 400 pounds, which is our working weight for the day. Pretty light, but at a week and a half out from the contest, it doesn't really make sense to be going heavy on this, especially in the middle of a cut. It would just feel like shit anyways. So last week was the last heavy yoke training. We've only really gone heavy on yoke twice, I think, this prep. So today it's just going to be kind of working on foot speed, still kind of focusing on like the bracing and intentionality and all that stuff as if it was heavy, moving it as if it's heavy to kind of replicate contest feel. So I'm still experimenting with the double belt, the soft belt and hard belt over the top. I do think I like it, especially on heavier sets. It feels a little bit weird to have this much on for light yoke, but just trying to get comfortable with the bracing with the added support. So that's the focus for today. I'm hoping to keep these runs under 10 seconds. Okay. Right, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow for the rest of event training. All right, so we made it to the last event training day. It is Thursday before OSG, so a week out from weigh-ins. To be honest, really don't want to be here. I'm super tired and have a lot to get through today, so I might not be as chatty as normal, but starting with some sandbag throws. We can actually film that in the daytime for once. Couple runs there, some comp runs on that. I think I've got some heavy singles on log, 200 for like 3 singles. I'm thinking I might want to try a couple reps split jerk, just because it's been a while since I've done split jerks, to kind of see if the movement pattern is still familiar and still there in case I need to utilize it on contest day. But we'll see how that feels. I have a comp run through of the Sandbag death medley, which is going to really suck. And then I think 250 for triples on stones. So I haven't really done any series work. I might do like the first half of the series as my warm-ups, just to kind of practice those transitions, because we haven't done a whole lot of that. But overall, decently heavy today, which is going to be pretty hard with the weight cut going on. But thankfully, the volume is pretty low. So I'd like to say this won't be that long of a workout, but it's probably a lie. It's probably going to take a while. So I'm going to go warm up, and then I'll finally film some of my sandbag throws for you. Right in the water too. Cool. All right, it's kind of the same thing that was happening last time I was doing my sandbag throws, the second to last bag. I'm just falling a little bit short. Some of it right now is I'm having a really hard time like extending back all the way. So some of the horizontal trajectory is a little bit limited right now. The bag weights feel good. I'm just having the same problem with the second to last bag. So I think I should just slow down a little bit, back up a little bit more with it, and kind of stop trying to go as fast as possible and just be as consistent as possible. So I'm supposed to do 2 runs there. I'd like to get 2 flawless comp runs though, so I'll probably do 2 more. Same setup though. The problem was just that I needed to try harder. Stupid. So I figured out the problem is that I was just being a weenie on the first run, because I didn't really do anything different except try harder and throw harder. So I think in my head sometimes, since this is an easier event for me, it's easier for me to put in lower effort, and then shit like the first run happens where I fuck things up. So I just need to actually work hard. Shocking. So I'm going to do 1 more run there. Try to make it clean. Again, not really worry about the speed, and just try to do another consistent run. And then that will be my last sandbag run of training. All right, so just starting to warm up for log. I think I've decided that instead of trying to throw split jerks into my top sets, which now that I'm thinking about it is really dumb to like try to bring that technique back on my heaviest work. So I'm going to instead, all my warm-ups do doubles and do a push press into a split jerk press away, because that's probably going to be a little bit closer to what may actually happen at the contest. So starting with the empty log, which is 150, I'll probably do jumps like 150, 170, 185, and then 200. And those warm-up sets I'll do doubles, bringing the split jerk back in just to see how that feels and see if it's something that I'm comfortable potentially having to implement toward the end of the minute on comp day. And then for our 200-pound singles, I'll probably just push press those. So that's where I'm at. All right, so happy to report that after months of not training my split jerk, it's actually feeling pretty natural still, so I'm happy with that. That was 170. I'm gonna bring it to 185, which is basically comp weight. Comp weight's gonna be 190, so it's 5 pounds under. I'll do another set of the push press into split jerk there. If it feels that good, that's just a confidence booster. I'm hoping to not need it, but it is nice to know that if I get to the end of the minute, my shoulders are gassed, that I do have that in my back pocket, that if I need to split jerk the last rep or two in order to get a couple more on the board, these are feeling good enough that I'm confident in whipping that out at the end if I need to. So one more warm-up set at 185. All right, well, that was the 185. Honestly, the clean is the only thing that's feeling hard right now. I'm not really sure why. I think I'm just tired, but that press and the jerk felt really clean. So we're going up to 200. I don't know if I probably won't split jerk any of those. I'm probably just going to push press those, since that is the goal for contests, is just to push press all of them. But we'll feel that out. I don't know. I'll think about it. All right, first of 3 singles at 200. I thought about it and I realized what the problem with my clean is. On Tuesday when I was training log, I pinched my skin really hard on one of my cleans. And so the problem is I'm just being a little bit of a weenie hut junior about it, because I'm scared to pinch my skin again. So thankfully that's fixable. I just need to not be a bitch about it. But this will be the first of 3 singles here with 200. All right, well, first set obviously didn't go so great. I think I'm just in my head, because there's no reason why 185 should feel like nothing and then 200 be a failed rep. So I think I'm just in my head about it, because the first clean went shit. I don't know. We're going to try again. We're just going to call this number 2. Okay, well, I think I'm going to reroute off of what I just said a little bit ago and probably split jerk the last rep here. I'll do one more here. I'll probably try to jerk it just as a preparation for worst case scenario if it feels like shit on the day too. There's no reason it should. My training earlier this week went really well, so I think I'm just tired. I'm going to try not to let it get into my head because there's no reason why this should be feeling hard other than just being at the end of prep and fatigued and dieting and like whatever else. So we'll do one more rep. I'll probably jerk it, see how it feels, and then move on. All right, so just talked to Laz. We actually decided to take out the Sandbag medley training for the day just because that's not really an event that I'm worried about, and fatigue is pretty high. Stones are an event that I'm worried about, so instead of tiring myself out before my stone training, we're going to skip that and then just put all of the rest of the energy that I have into stones. So I think programmed, I have 250 for triples. I'm going to warm up with probably the first half of the run, so 175, 200, 225. Probably do some like half series runs there, and then go into the 250 for triples. So I'd really like to hit heavier than that for my last stone session, but I just don't think it's in the cards today, so that's okay. Just gonna work on making these really technically proficient and feeling good. All right, so these are the first 3 stones in the series. I'm gonna go into these 3 stones without any warm-up just because at the contest we don't typically get any warm-up time on the stones. So I'm just gonna try to do the first half of the series as a run. If it feels good, I'll probably just stop there with 1. If I need to clean some stuff up, I might do 2 runs here before I get to my working sets at 250. All right, so that went pretty well. I'll probably call it there. I was on the fence about whether to try to one motion the third stone. I'll probably only one motion the first 2, just for the sake of confidence. But those felt good, so I'm gonna be done there. Bring it up to the 250 for some triples. All right, first working set, decided to not retack, so I don't wanna rely on having fresh tacky once I get to this stone weight. So I'm gonna do this first set with just what I have left over from the run, and then on the last set I'll probably retack for that. All right, last set of OSG prep. Actually decided to not retack again because the weight's feeling pretty good. So I'm gonna challenge myself there. But last set, best set. Okay. Not retacking was a bad idea. And that's a wrap on OSG training. I'll do one more session next week during my deload week. I typically like to go in on Tuesday and work up to like a heavy-ish single on squats and deadlifts, and then do like a full body circuit just to keep my body moving, hit something heavy-ish, really not heavy, like an RPE 7 single, but just something to stay like neurologically primed. And then that'll be it. So I'll try to bring my camera. I'll bring my camera with me to Madison. Hopefully I'm training somewhere where they'll let me film so I can vlog that session, because I do get a lot of questions about what I do during that last deload week. So I'll try to film that for you guys, but otherwise we're done. And now it's just focusing on recovery and making weight. So the plan is to leave for Madison in 2 days. The plan as of right now is to drive. I don't know. I've been considering looking at last minute plane tickets. But as of right now, the plan is to leave Saturday morning, start driving, and get there by Sunday evening. So that is the hope. As always, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, things that maybe you want to see next week. If I have the energy to, I'm hoping to kind of vlog through next week and like the weight cut, and once I get to the B&B, that kind of like that week before comp prep stuff. But I also don't really know how bad I'm going to be feeling yet. So that is the hope. But if there's specific things that you guys want to know or see, let me know. I'll do my best. And then as always, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. It really helps a ton. And I will see you guys next week, if not at OSG.